Hello, Angie here. There's a story doing the rounds right now that's got a lot of people worried, especially those in or near retirement. You might have heard something like, everyone over 65 is going to lose £10,000 of their savings. It's a terrifying headline, and understandably it's causing real anxiety. But here's the truth. There is no new law that simply takes £10,000 away from pensioners. What's really happening is more complicated and, frankly, more sneaky. A perfect storm of frozen allowances, rising interest rates, and new HMRC powers, which is combining in a way that makes pensioners feel like they're losing money. They're not losing their savings directly, but they are being drawn into paying tax in ways they didn't expect. But don't worry, I'll give you some tips towards the end of the video to help you. Let's get started, shall we, with the basics. The Personal Savings Allowance, or PSA, is an allowance that lets you earn a certain amount of interest on savings, tax-free, each year. If you're a basic rate taxpayer, it's £1,000. If you're a higher rate taxpayer, it's £500. And if you're an additional rate taxpayer, you don't get one at all. When interest rates were near zero, hardly anyone noticed this rule, of course. To earn £1,000 of savings interest when rates were just 0.5%, you'd have needed £200,000 in the bank. Very few people were in that position. But now the picture is very different. Interest rates have risen sharply. At 5%, you only need £20,000 of savings to hit that £1,000 tax-free limit. Suddenly, many ordinary pensioners who put aside a modest nest egg are affected. And here's where the second part of the storm comes in: fiscal drag. Both the PSA and the main personal allowance, that's the £12,570 of tax-free income everyone gets, have been frozen. They're not keeping up with inflation, even though pensions and wages are rising. That means more people are being quietly dragged into paying tax and into higher tax bands, even if their living standards haven't improved. Sneaky. The pensioner problem. So, why does this combination hit pensioners harder than most? It comes down to their financial profile. Pensioners typically rely on, number one, the state pension, currently around £11,973 a year. Number two, a private or workplace pension, let's say £5,000. Three, and savings built up over a lifetime, often kept in cash for safety rather than invested in the stock market. That's exactly the kind of income mix that's getting caught out. And here's an example. A pensioner gets the new state pension of £11,973 plus £5,000 from a private pension. That's £16,973 a year in total. Now, the frozen personal allowance of £12,570 doesn't cover all of that. So, about £4,400 is already being taxed at 20%. Now, add, say, £50,000 of savings in the bank, earning 5% interest. That's £2,500 a year. How much of that savings interest is taxable? Well, the picture is a bit more complicated than many headlines suggest. First, there's the starting rate for savings, which can give up to £5,000 of tax-free savings interest if your other income is low enough. In this example, their other income is £16,973. That's only just below the cut-off of £17,570. So they'd still qualify, but not for the full £5,000. The starting rate is reduced pound for pound by income above £12,570, leaving about £597 of interest tax-free. Then comes the PSA, which gives another £1,000 tax-free. Put together, about £1,597 of the £2,500 interest escapes tax, but that leaves roughly £900 taxable at 20%, around £180 of tax. It's not the dramatic £10,000 loss being claimed in the headlines, but for someone on a fixed income, it's money they'll definitely feel. And the bigger the savings pot, the sharper the tax bite becomes. Now let's look at the HMRC hammer, how it's collected. This is where the worry really ramps up. In the past, reporting savings interest was often left to individuals via a self-assessment tax return. Many didn't bother, especially when interest rates were low. But HMRC now receives savings data directly from banks and building societies. That means they know exactly how much interest you've earned. Here's what they can do with that information. If you earn over £10,000 a year from savings and investments, you're required to register for self-assessment. But for most people, HMRC now bypasses that. They can issue what's called a simple assessment, a letter telling you how much tax they think you owe. Or, more unsettling, they can adjust your tax code directly. Imagine this. You're retired, you get a regular pension payment each month, then, out of the blue, HMRC changes your tax code. Suddenly, your next pension payout is noticeably smaller. You weren't warned, and you weren't expecting it. It feels like money's just vanished from your income. This is exactly how pensioners can feel like they've lost their savings. Not because their savings pot has disappeared, but because the income they rely on is quietly reduced by unexpected tax bills. So let's bust the headline. No, there is no new rule that takes £10,000 from everyone over 65. That's a myth. But where does the confusion come from? A few places. Number one, mixing up savings with tax. Someone with £200,000 in the bank might see they've paid thousands in tax over several years and assume they've lost £10,000. Backdated tax. If you didn't declare savings interest in past years, HMRC can now catch up with you. That could mean a backdated bill of several £1,000s plus penalties. Psychological impact. Number 3. If your pension income suddenly drops because HMRC has changed your tax code, it feels like money has been taken from you, even if technically it's tax on your interest earnings. All of these fuel the sense of a £10,000 loss, even though the mechanics are different. What's the advice and takeaway from all of this? What should pensioners do? And here's the crucial part. Don't panic, but do act. Number 1, check your bank and building society statements. Know exactly how much interest you're earning each year. Number 2, look at your total income. Add together pensions, savings and investments to see if you're over the thresholds. Number 3, if you get a letter from HMRC, don't ignore it. A simple assessment or a tax code change can be confusing, but help is available. Speak to a professional or contact a charity that specialises in tax advice for older people, or leave me a comment. This isn't about a malicious new policy designed to strip pensioners of savings. It's about frozen allowances and high interest rates colliding with a tax system that wasn't built for this moment. Pensioners with their cash savings and modest fixed incomes are right in the firing line. But knowledge is power. The more you understand what's happening, the better prepared you'll be. By checking your accounts, keeping on top of your income, and getting advice early, you can protect yourself from nasty shocks. And please remember, while this video explains the general picture, your own situation may be different, so always seek professional financial advice before making decisions about your money. Finally, please subscribe to my channel and like and share this video with as many pensioners as you can and act upon it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye for now.